you take us through that last play of regulation, just kind of what happened on that sequence?
We try to run a couple screens, different angles. They played it pretty well, and then me and Juan was supposed to have a screen. I was trying to come up if there was nothing else open. He got open, made a great play down the lane. You know, I'm sure he'd love to make that. This is a solid attack. That's the nature of the league. Like, ball bounce your way, you know, here or there. In those situations, it covers up a pretty poor performance throughout the game. We want to win. We wanted to come up clutch down the end, down the stretch, and, you know, steal one, really, the way we played, but it didn't happen. So gotta make those adjustments for tomorrow.
I probably should have specified. I was actually the defensive possession right before that.
My mistake. We were trying to just play like kind of, you know, cover the 3-point line. And they had a weird kind of setup to start, and there's just a lot of space up there. And I looked at the ball for like 2 seconds. Jay Holiday made a good cut, and he made a shot. I know there's that conversation, should we have fouled and all that. I was just a step slow on that one, gave him, you know, too wide open of a look. They're trying to guard the inbounds, and I got caught looking.
Steph, you guys got off 42 threes, but did it feel like you got into much of a flow offensively, just with the ball movement that you're typically using to get good shots, good looks?
Yeah, I mean, 21 turnovers doesn't help, but I feel like for the majority of the game, most of the shots were pretty good looks. Sometimes there's a tendency for the way that the offensive game is going, the way your shooting goes, that it can affect discipline and energy on the defensive end. Because your mind starts to wander a little bit in terms of trying to get your rhythm, you know, sometimes you get hard on yourself because you're missing open shots, and that spills over to the other side. I feel like that was a little bit of what happened throughout the meat of the game because I don't know. I honestly can't remember how we got 21 turnovers. I got to look at that in the film, but there were a lot of good open looks throughout the majority of the game. Just didn't go in, and then, you know, they took advantage of it, kept it close the whole time, and made enough plays on the stretch.
So Steve said that he felt like the other team was more ready to play than you guys were. And he said that that's on him. And his quote was that it was my night to sneak it up. And he basically fell on a sword. What's your response to hearing him say that?
I mean, that's, you know, his character to assume responsibility. I think that's part of our, you know, culture. We all have a tendency to look at yourself, what you could have done differently. I'm doing the exact same thing. We obviously knew that they had a lot of guys out, and that can go, it's kind of the tale of two different ends. It can go where you're just dominating because you're, you know, more talented. They came out with nothing to lose and were playing really hard. Guys were super aggressive with their opportunity, and it showed. I think the beginning of the third quarter was very telling in terms of we gave up like 4 threes, I think. And that gave them life, like, in, you know, either the couple guys that have been around the league for a while or guys that are trying to make the league, that life and that, you know, belief that, hey, we were in this game, we can steal the game. That's what the NBA is about. So we didn't do a great job at all tonight of imposing our will and showing, you know, what we're about, you know, for 48 plus minutes.
I know nobody in the locker room, you know, likes to lose, but given the circumstances, is this tougher than most?
I mean, you're trying to put a string of good games together. Obviously, we know without Draymond, you know, getting Clay back into his rhythm, you want to continue to win and keep good vibes around the team. And, you know, as much as you can. You're not, again, there's no panic. It's just, the standard that we hold ourselves to, and what we've shown that we can do throughout the beginning of the season. You want to hold on to that as much as you can, because we made it look easy, but it's really hard to win games in this league. Like, it's really hard to do what we're trying to do. So embrace that. Again, show your resiliency, how we're going to show up tomorrow night. Do what we need to do to get a win. Yeah, it's a tough loss. Definitely one you want back.
You were upset, and it was like mid-fourth. I think about 5 minutes left. They had just gone on the 7-0 run. I think you were kind of getting after Gary and Andrew. Was that about a specific breakdown, or was that just more generally how you guys were playing?
Both. It was that's execution, like Coach talks about, or whatever his quote was, his night. Our execution on simple stuff that we know is our kind of bread and butter and plays that we run every time. We didn't execute well, so it was a dead possession where that's a very kind of pivotal part of the game where you can go on a run for 2-3 minutes, get the crowd into it, get a couple stops. We came down. I called a play. We didn't execute it well. Had an empty possession. I think they scored. We called timeout. And that's where us as players have to keep each other accountable to the little things that we can control. You can't control making or missing or making shots, but you can control execution, and kind of the sign of where we're at tonight.
Clay missed all 7 of his 3-point attempts tonight. Have you sensed any frustration from him? And how hard do you think it is for him to kind of have these short stints off the bench and be, a little colder than he's used to in the past?
Everything he's gone through is hard for 2.5 years, and I'm betting on him to be able to figure it out over time. Like, there's no doubt that I know him and his mindset and the confidence he has in himself, and he's going to keep shooting. I think he had that quote last game. Like, I kept telling him 101, like, you shoot 100 shots, you miss it, what's 101's going in? Like, I'm going to keep, telling him that message because it's going to come. But everything he's gone through, 2.5 years off, the minute restriction, not really being able to find a flow, it's tough. But you got to keep the big picture mindset of everything he's going through. So obviously we're rocking with him. Every shot he takes, we think is going in. Nothing changes on that.
Steph, obviously this is a interesting question for the 3-point king, but do you think you guys take too many threes at junctures of the game when on nights you're cold? Would that be a fair assessment?
No, because I think the ones we took were good tonight for the most part. I took a couple deep ones in transition. I'm probably going to do that again. But the other ones were, you could break down the defense, kick out. I think Juan had a couple open looks. Wiggs had a couple. And, when you're trying to will yourself, I like the confidence we have. Obviously, if there's a pattern, you address that, but you don't necessarily nitpick open shots, even if the percentages don't really show in a single game. So it's just about us trying to just be aggressive and make plays we think we can make, and you live with it. It's tough. It's the nature of the NBA, and something I know it's not a surprise in terms of his role changing with Clay back, and it's just maintaining his aggressiveness and his confidence in himself that he can make plays and get himself into the game a little quicker coming off the bench. And, I never had to kind of do that, so you don't know what it physically feels like, mentally feels like to, find your way coming off the bench like that. But I just want him to be assertive, be aggressive, just see the floor the way he can, and know that it's going to get better as he continues to get the reps. That's all you can ask for, is just being locked in mentally to try to assert yourself as quickly as possible when you get in the game, because we obviously need him to be impactful and be a threat and do what we all believe he's capable of doing.
Steph, you talked about how doing what you guys did to start the season may look easy, but it's not. How did that wear physically or mentally on you where we're at right now in the season?
No, it didn't. It's got me so confident in where we're at. Like, I remember last year and where we were, just trying to find any positivity and any string a couple wins together. So very aware of, like, again, the big picture of where we're at with this season, the ups and downs of an 82-game schedule. There are going to be tough losses. There are going to be games where you just can't come out like gangbusters and play, like a perfect 10 out of 10 type of game, and everything in between. But the early part of the season has given me, so much confidence in, where we can go as a team. And we know we have everything that we need to put it all together. And as long as everybody's continuing to come with the right intentions and make the right adjustments to what we need to do, we're going to be just fine. Just got to stick with it.